Clarkonomics, dissecting the complexity of paying Caitlin Clark what she's really worth. Indianapolis, Dr. Ryan Brewer is a renowned valuation guru in the field of finance. He is an expert on estimating something or someone's worth. His professional opinion is so revered that he has been called on to testify in court as a valuation expert, including cases involving sports property. In his research, he has crunched the numbers one way or another for just about every major sports league. He has delved into college and youth sports, too. But when IndyStar asked Brewer to put a price tag on Caitlin Clark, what she has meant financially to the WNBA, her city and the country in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, the numbers were so shocking that Brewer was sure he must have made some mistake. He ran the numbers again, then again, and every single time he got the same result. "The numbers are so staggering," said Brewer, associate professor of finance at Indiana University Columbus. "They don't even seem real." By Brewer's calculation, Clark is responsible for 26.5% of the WNBA's league-wide activity for the 2024 season, including attendance, merchandise sales, and television. One of every 6 tickets sold at a WNBA arena can be attributed to Clark. Total TV viewership due to Clark is up 300%, and 45% of total broadcast value came from Fever games. The league's merchandise sales catapulted 500%, with Clark ranking number 1, followed by the Chicago Sky's Angel Reese, another rookie. The Fever's regular season game attendance averaged more than 17,000 fans, the first time a WNBA team has drawn more than 300,000 fans in a season. Clark's regular season games were watched by 1.2 million viewers on average, which was 199% more than non-Clark WNBA games. But perhaps the most astonishing number of all is Clark's economic impact on the city of Indianapolis, which Brewer says is upwards of $36 million. Not as big as the NBA All-Star Game's $400 million financial boost to the city in February, but a respectable 10% of that. "Now, let's take a breath for a minute and think about this," said Brewer. "That's for 1 year. We're talking about one player. One player who came into a league that had slowly been growing and ignited a firestorm of popularity. A player who is paid an annual salary of $76,535, a fraction of what she made for her league. A player whose male rookie counterpart Victor Wembanyama was paid $13.8 million his first season in the NBA, a whopping 184 times more than Clark. All of it begs the question, a complicated, multi-layered question that involves lessons in business, marketing, risks, rewards, and economic impact. Will Clark ever be paid by the WNBA what she's really worth to the league? Yes, it would make a ton of sense for Indianapolis to lock her up long-term at $1 million a year, said John Holden, associate professor of business law and ethics at the Indiana University Kelley School of Business. But the Fever and the WNBA can't just go out and give these deals, even if that's what market value for Caitlin Clark's playing would be worth. There is, after all, the WNBA's collective bargaining agreement, which puts a cap on what a rookie can be paid, Clark's $76,535 salary. No matter how much Clark has affected her league and the popularity of women's basketball nationwide, no matter how much money she's racking up for a pro sport that for years was floundering, it's a cut and dry issue. Whether that will change in the future depends on if the wave of interest in the league sustains, rises, or drops off. Whether TV contracts can be renegotiated, whether a higher percentage of revenues can be directed toward players, and whether the capitalist market that pro sports exists in is willing to take a risk. As this continues to materialize, the corporate side, the business side, not the players' union, but the other sides, are going to continue to watch to see that these numbers can stabilize and maintain rather than just spike and drop again, said Brewer. That's what they're afraid of. And that's what's keeping the numbers low. Clark was never going to make LeBron James money. The WNBA Players Association doesn't want to continue to watch and wait. They want things to change, and quickly. Hours after the 2024 season ended with the New York Liberty winning the championship in a 67-62 overtime Game 5 against the Minnesota Lynx, the Players Association announced it would opt out of the 2020 collective bargaining agreement, which was set to expire in 2027. The move ends the terms of that agreement after the 2025 season, a contract that set the league's minimum annual salary at $64,154 with a maximum of $241,984, adding up to average base salaries for players at about $120,000. For Clark, her 4-year rookie contract under the CBA was worth $338,056 on a scale that assigns specific salaries based on draft positions. The top 4 picks in the 2024 draft, for example, were guaranteed a base salary of $76,535 in their first year, with number 2 pick Cameron Brink of the Los Angeles Sparks, number 3 Camila Cardoso of the Sky, and number 4 Rickea Jackson, with the Sparks earning the same salary as Clark. Before the draft, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert called the 4 women a part of a class loaded with household names. They didn't disappoint. As the season played out, not only were on-court statistical records shattered, with Clark breaking almost every rookie record during her first year, but so were off-court stats. In addition to explosive growth in attendance, television ratings, and interest from sponsors, the WNBA signed a new media rights deal in July worth a reported $200 million a year, more than 3 times the current package. The league is also experiencing unprecedented growth in franchising, adding 3 teams in a matter of 2 years to its current 12-team roster. The Golden State Valkyries, which paid a $50 million expansion fee in October 2023, a league record at the time, will debut in 2025. A year later, that figure more than doubled when the WNBA added Portland, $125 million, and Toronto, $115 million, for the 2026 season. Still, with league revenue projected at $200 million, according to Bloomberg, less than 10% or $20 million of that goes to player salaries. NBA players share 50% of their league revenue, which was $10.6 billion in 2023, or $5.3 billion. If you look at where the NBA is at and the NFL and the NHL, that's probably the best benchmark, not actual dollar numbers but share of revenue, said Holden. And most of the men's pro leagues are at a 47% to 51% share, so very close to 50-50, and I think that's where a lot of fans and players of the WNBA would like to see things go in the future. Clark's salary in the whole scheme of things is a tiny number, said Victor Matheson, professor of economics at the College of the Holy Cross in Worcester, Mass., who specializes in sports economics. Caitlin Clark was never going to make LeBron James money, even in the best world, he said. But in a world where the WNBA players were making similar percentages of the revenue generated, you would see salaries in the WNBA easily double, and maybe more than that. Jealousy, fear, respect, how Caitlin Clark's been treated by WNBA players is complicated.